The match preview, and you look, in all competitions, Chelsea are 4 wins from their last 5. Obviously, that loss coming last weekend against Sunderland at home, which would have been a major blow to them, major blow. But I think Tottenham and Chelsea are locked both as top goal scorers in the Premier League. It's always a massive occasion when Chelsea come to Spurs, and we need to stop the rot of just conceding 4 goals to these lot. The last 2 times that they've come to Tottenham, we've conceded 4 goals, which is just nowhere near good enough. We've lost 4 in a row to Chelsea. It's time we put that right this weekend, and I feel like this is one of the best opportunities that we have with the injuries that they've got, with the kind of, I know they're winning a lot of games in all competitions, but like you mentioned before in a predicted lineup, you know, in the Premier League, it's a bit iffy their form. And I think it's an opportunity for us.
They're a bit similar to us. Away from home, they're actually quite good, but at home they're having struggles. They lost to Brighton, they lost to Sunderland. They haven't been quite as good at home, but away from home, they're a lot harder to beat and a lot harder to play against. They also, especially earlier in the season, were relying heavily on set pieces. They were scoring a lot of set piece goals. So I don't know if they're still getting a lot of advantages from that, but they were definitely doing that earlier in the season. But I look at them at the moment. Maresca's a very good tactical manager. He's very savvy. He's very clever. They're in build-up. They're very difficult to press and they're very difficult to control. But I think at the moment they're being hampered by a lot of injuries, suspensions, and again a high turnover of players in the summer. I think every summer they're kind of playing catch up with themselves in a sense that it's going to take a lot to kind of I feel for them to start gelling again. They've still got a lot of quality. I think Esteval has been brilliant. He's only 17 and what a talent he is. He might not even start, but even if whether he does or he doesn't, or he comes off the bench, he's a proper talent. You got to say he's really taken to the Premier League so well.
I mean, he's in the last international break, he scored 2 goals for Brazil, didn't he? In 1 game.
Yeah.
So I mean, that shows you where they value him. He's a proper player.
He's a real talent, real talent. They've got a lot of talent, but they're a very young team. They're a very young team. I think their biggest strength is definitely midfield. Caicedo, Enzo, that dynamic has been fantastic for them. And I think Caicedo is such a big player for them. If we can kind of not get dominated there, I think that goes a long way. Because I think I look at both boxes in terms of striker potentially, if they're going to start Mark Guiu, and I look at their centre-backs. They've been starting with Shallow and Achimpong recently. I look at that and I'm thinking we should have a big advantage there. We have more quality there. But then I look at the wide areas. I think maybe they'll feel differently there.
Yeah, I mean, last couple of games they've started with Neto and Garnacho. Garnacho obviously scored last time out against Sunderland, but he's been hauled off both games like quite early on. I think Pedro Neto is having a very good season actually, but I don't think it's anything to be, frightened of or scared of. I think the likes of Pedro Porro and Destiny Udogie should back themselves against players like Garnacho and Pedro Neto. I really believe that. It's not like it's Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi. They're good players, but they're not like unbelievable players.
A bit worried about Porro, to be honest. I'm not as worried about Udogie. I think Udogie can handle it in the one-on-one situations quite well. Porro, when he doesn't have the help, sometimes can struggle.
So it'll be probably Garnacho against Porro.
Yeah, could be Garnacho, could be Neto. Depends who they play on the right. I think I'd be much more comfortable if it's Garnacho because he's handled him well before. But if it's Neto, I'm a bit more worried because I think he has struggled against Neto before, if I remember.
Yeah, well, in those games against Wolves over the last couple of years, we've left a lot of space for Wolves, and they've just banged us on the counter attack. That's the way Neto's been scoring his goals. But I don't think we're going to allow them that kind of opportunities in this game.
Yeah. I don't know. I wonder how this game is going to go because I think Frank is obviously very aware our home form has been nowhere near good enough. And it's not just the home form, it's how we've been playing at home. Yeah. That's the big issue. I think if we've been going at teams and just being unlucky, I think fans wouldn't care as much, but we have been really hard to watch, not really attacking anywhere near enough, not really creating anywhere near enough chances, way too easy to play against at home. I think that's been the big problem. So I think he's tomorrow gonna really drill to the players. I think you've got to be try and getting on top of them. You've got to try and show a bit of aggression, dominance. You've got to be sharper than them. And I think we're going to go at them. I'm not saying we're going to leave loads of space in behind. I think any Frank team, they're smart. They're going to obviously pick their moments to drop deep, pick their moments to go forward. But there will be moments, I think, when we do commit some risk. And I just hope we don't get caught out on those moments. And I think it's the right thing to do. You do have to do that at home. If you're going to be more attacking, going to be more aggressive, there's going to be moments where if you get caught out, you get caught out. But you've got to make sure they're to a minimum. And you've got to make sure you're on top of them more than they're on top of you. And you're going at them.
Yeah. I think the fans gonna play a massive part in the game tomorrow night, because we all know, we had the drummer on yesterday and we were talking about the problems at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with the atmosphere. There's obviously initiatives in place and plans in place tomorrow to make it a cracking atmosphere. And I think so far when we've had these poor performances, I'm not saying this is the only reason, but it could play a part in it. The stadium's just been completely flat. Where I think coming into the game tomorrow night, obviously it's London derby under the lights, first one of the season. I think the fans are going to be bang up for this one, and I think the players are going to feed off the energy. I really do. You remember the last couple of games at Chelsea, when we've conceded 4 goals, but the atmosphere's always been top in those games. So I expect it to be the same. I expect the players to kind of feed off that, and I expect Spurs to have a really fast start in this game. Really fast start. And Frank, like you said, has mentioned it in the press conference, how we need to get at them from minute 1. And if we can't get at them from minute 1 and get that early goal, that should hold it in good stead, because I think we've only dropped points once when we've gone ahead so far this season.
Although it was a game we got an early goal. Yeah. Against Villa.
Yeah. And it was at home, but the atmosphere was dead. So I think if we go 1-0 up against Chelsea, it's not going to be the same kettle of fish against Villa, where the flat atmosphere is just going to go completely flat. I think the fans are going to be absolutely jubilant and delighted.
Yeah. And we need to just start correcting that home form, and I think it has to start on Saturday.
Absolutely. It's been nowhere near good enough. Performance and result. I know, it's ridiculous.
17th. Mad,
ridiculous.
Everyone talks about how great it is, which is fine, how great our away form is, which is top. And that is great. But we are 17th in home form. It's mad.
Which is 17th in home form, but 3rd in the league.
Yeah.
Which is the most important one.
Of course. I'm not saying everything's bad. I'm just saying no one talks about the home form in terms of how low down we are. Everyone keeps mentioning top of the away form. We are 17th in home form.
Yeah, we like to project the good things. Keep the bad things in the back pocket. Keep it under wraps.
It's very similar to Chelsea, who are 3rd away form and 15th at home form.
Oh, is that right? I didn't even know that. Wow. But there's a bit of PTSD coming into this game, though, because first of all, it's always against Chelsea. There's a bit of PTSD, no matter what. But last year was very similar in terms of Romero and Van de Ven were out for a while, and they returned and rushed back for the game, and both went off injured. Obviously, Van de Ven goes off in the latter stage of the game with that hamstring, and Romero goes off in the first half. It always seems to be against Chelsea. It always seems to be against Chelsea, where we get these kind of injuries beforehand and then we rush them back to play Chelsea. There is a slight risk. There is a risk of that with Romero, Doggy, and even Wilson Odebear coming back for this game. Obviously, they weren't deemed fit enough to play on Wednesday, and now Frank has said they're available in contention. It wasn't even just the game last time, though. Like the one before that in the 4-1. When we lost 4-1 and what's his name scored a hat-trick, and
Jackson and
Kulusevski said that we lost the game but won at life. All of that, high line for life, all that.
Lost Maddison, lost Van de Ven.
That derailed our season 10 games in. Van de Ven goes off injured. Maddison goes off. Romero gets sent off.
The Doggy got sent off. So it's like these 2 games have really given me PTSD about going into this game. I do think we're going to win, but you can never be too sure, can you, against Chelsea? Yeah, there is this game, literally this game, and it's always been around this time, both seasons as well. It's really derailed our season 2 years in a row, where we've been in decent positions, and then this game comes around and everything goes to shit.
And we took the lead in both games, didn't we?
Yeah.
Got 2-0 up last year.
2-0 up last year, and then we were 1-0 up, and then we had that Son offside goal the year before. I don't think it's going to be as crazy this game, although I'd love it if it's crazy and it goes in our favour, but I've got a feeling the game is going to be a bit calmer on Saturday than it has been in the previous 2
Chelsea
games.
will try and make it a chaotic game. We know that. Chelsea will, and I think we're just going to try and take that craziness off them and try and make it a bit more calmer game. So look, we'll see how it goes, but it's always a difficult game when we're playing Chelsea.
For you,
man.
so is that in your mind when you're thinking, and that's why maybe Romero won't start?
That is 100% in my mind, man. I just don't want to rush him back. I don't want him to get injured again. We need him so much going forward. He impacts so much of the good things that we do from the back. He's our captain, and we just desperately need him, especially with the North London derby coming around the corner as well, and a massive game against Manchester United next weekend. Like, I would even go as far to say as, like, don't start him today. Don't even start him on Wednesday or Tuesday. Get him fit for that Man United game.
Why that game specifically? Just because you don't want them to win 5 in a row?
No, I don't care about them winning 5 in a row, but I think, like, if he's back fit now and you give him a week's rest, then he should definitely be fit. Like, I want to keep winning in the Premier League. And I think Man United is going to be a really hard game, and I think we're going to need him. Not because of the opposition, just because of, it's another Premier League game.
I hear you. But he's available for selection now, so if he's available, isn't he?
I know, but we've had players available before, and they've got injured because we've rushed them back. So if he wasn't fit enough on Wednesday, it does make me... And look, the same is with a doggy. It is same with a doggy. But, yeah, I just don't want to rush him back. If he's 100% fit and the medical team says he's 100% fit and there's no risk of recurring injury, then, yeah, play him. Without a doubt. But if there's even that, like, 5% chance, don't play him, man.
Yeah, and that's the decision Frank has to make. And, it's just a difficult one because it is Chelsea. It's a London derby. He is our captain, and I'm sure he's going to be absolutely desperate to play. He's going to be probably knocking down Frank's door saying, get me in, put me in, I'm playing. Like, no chance I'm missing out this game. That's probably what he's saying. So it's going to have to be Frank, if he isn't 100% fit, again with that caveat, to make that hard decision and say, look, you're not 100%. We're going to win. It's a long season. We're going to need you. So we're not going to use you in this game. I don't know. I got a feeling he will start, but we'll see. I get that feeling he's going to start.
Yeah. I mean, I hope he starts. That's the reality. I do. Obviously, I hope he starts, but I don't know, man. It's just the PTSD. It's just...
and especially because it's Chelsea
That's
again.
the thing, yeah. That's the thing.
So it's like we've seen this story before.
Yeah.
We don't want to see it again.
I really like that dynamic, though. Like we were mentioning in the predicted lineup, Kolo Muani up top. I think he's shown some nice things without making too much of an impact. I think it's fair to say so far. Javi Simmons step in the right direction last week against on midweek against Newcastle.
I kind of feel like that's why it's important to have two number 10s. Like we have continued that dynamic because Caicedo just covers so much ground. If it's just Javi alone in that 10, I think Caicedo will probably eat him up. But if he's got that help, he's got those creative players next to him, I think all of a sudden we might have a better opportunity of kind of breaking past him, albeit it's still going to be very difficult. But I think we've got a better chance of doing that with a couple of players next to each other rather than just one floating around there, I feel.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking about last night? In this new kind of tactical setup that we've got, is it not mouthwatering thinking about the return of Kulusevski in this kind of role? Like, if you have him where maybe we're playing a Javi now and you play a Javi where kind of Bergvall is, or the other way around, like whatever, where he wants to go. I think it's tailor-made for Kulusevski.
Absolutely. Get Decky in the 10. And I think he's going to work wonders. And I think Frank is probably absolutely looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And then when you get Maddison in there as well, I mean, I don't know how you'll fit them all in, but...
Yeah, look, Maddison, there's no point even thinking about because it's just so long till he comes back. But Kulusevski could be back, in the next couple of months. So, I mean, that Kulusevski is just like... I had dreams of it last night, man.
It's going to be amazing. And he's so strong as well, so he's going to work hard as well off the ball. He's going to add... You don't lose anything physically, but he's just going to add that little bit extra quality in that middle. I think he's tailor-made for it, to be honest. Yeah.
And look, I think whatever you want to say about Chelsea, you can get out their defence. Their defence is not that strong. I think what they're going to play... Achiampong and Chalobah at centre-backs, I think, look, I've been slightly impressed with Achiampong. Chalobah, I don't think is anything special. So I think our attacking players in the central area should be licking their lips when they think about these players coming, because it's not, you're thinking about Chelsea lineups from yesteryear with the defences they used to have. I mean, this is just a shadow of it, isn't it?
And James likes to invert. He actually has been really good this season, James, I have to say. He's had a really good season, but he likes to play a bit inverted as well. You think about their centre-back options, especially with Colwell, long-term injury, and Sanchez and goal as well. It's like that none of them would be signed for probably top 10 teams. You'd say, like, they're not that great.
Yeah, 100%. And I think like, you know how Frank likes to create those high XG chances and you know, play those balls. I think there should be a directive from Frank, you know, sometimes take those shots from 25 yards, take those shots from 30 yards. We've got players like Kudus and we've got players like Javi Simmons and Lucas Bergvall that can hit them from far. So why not test the keeper?
100%. And that's something, obviously, I think you've seen it even against Newcastle. You always want to play that extra pass all the time. And something that I think once everyone gets in on the same wavelength, it's going to be okay. But at the moment, that extra pass leads to us missing the chance a lot of the time and not taking any shots, rather than at least getting a shot on goal and testing the keeper or something like that. I think when I look at the dynamics on the team as well, I think the fact that that if we can play a dog in this game, I think it's going to be so important, because I think whoever plays for Chelsea, if they're on the wing, if they're not tracking him back, and with the way Reece James likes to play, I think that's going to be an element that's going to be very difficult for Chelsea to contain.
Yeah,
I think I think a doggy could really cause some serious trouble there.
Yeah, I completely agree. And correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't in that 4-1 game, like in that first half, a doggy was just on fire, wasn't
he? Yeah.
And he completely was marauding down that left-hand side or through the middle in that Ange inverted system, like nobody's business. So I think I want to see him have a kind of repeat of that. Can he play 90 minutes? I don't know. But I think it's really important for Spurs to take that lead, get that lead going into the last half an hour, 25 minutes, and that gives us the opportunity and the options to bring on a Romero, go back free, bring on a Spence, solidify it at the back, and hopefully we can see it out.
Is there any worry for you again playing this pivot? Are we going to have the similar struggles that we've had in other home games where we just haven't been able to progress the ball centrally anywhere near enough? What's interesting, though, just before you answer that, is against Newcastle, if you look at our part, I know Palhinha was in.
Yeah, that was a big thing,
defense, but our pass map was a lot more central, a lot more progressive than it has been in other games. So I think maybe that's a way of that we're trying to find a solution.
Yeah, I hope so. But obviously, I think Palhinha in the defence and, you know, having Bentancur alongside a different midfielder was a big part of it. But there's no reason why Bentancur and Palhinha can't pass it forward. There is no reason whatsoever. I don't think it's a personnel issue. I do think it was an instruction from Frank.
I agree.
So I think that when you're looking at this game and when you're looking at the last couple of games mainly against Newcastle, if the instruction was to play it through the middle, they did that pretty well at times. So hopefully the instruction will be from Frank to keep it the same.
I think what I'd like to see, I saw someone suggest this on X yesterday. What I'd like to see is in this 3-2-5 build-up we have, is instead of Palhinha and Bentancur being next to each other, I would like to see Palhinha drop into the back three and Porro maybe go alongside Bentancur in possession, play like that Trent role. Trent used to play for Liverpool last season. Because I think Palhinha against Newcastle looked so much more comfortable on the ball in a deeper area. It was like he didn't have that pressure of midfielders always on his back and he had to rush his passing or anything like that. Like, he could take his time. All of a sudden you saw a bit more quality from him. He can charge into midfield as well when there's a space opening up. But him picking the ball up from a deep area where there's more space, there's less pressure on him, I think it kind of suits him. I think he just looked a lot better on the ball, I felt, against Newcastle.
I agree with that. But also, I think it works a lot better if you have Romero on the pitch, because Romero, obviously, if Danto's picking up the balls in those areas, defending on that right-hand side, then obviously we've got a bit of a flaw in playing out the back. But if Romero's there, winning the ball back there, then obviously you can start attacks really well. He can dink it into midfield. He can go for those long switches out wide. He can just feed it into the mid. You know, we've got so many more options if Romero's there.
It's true. So I think that's something I would like him to consider. Potentially, if Romero's fit, especially, I think that's like be perfect. You got all paths to everywhere around the pitch, which is exactly what we need. So, I think be interesting to see if that's a solution he finds. But I don't expect him to implement it tomorrow. I think he's going to continue with Bentancur, Palhinha in the middle, and I still feel Palhinha. When he's on the ball in those situations, especially when he's being pressured. He kind of rushes his passing a lot. He plays out of play. He kind of panics a bit too much. Doesn't have that same composure Bentancur has. Bentancur just is able just to put his foot. Sometimes it's a detriment. Sometimes he's too lax and he loses it. But I feel like at least he's just got that little bit more composure than Paulinho in the middle. I feel.
Yeah, no, he definitely does. He definitely does. So look, we'll wait. We'll wait and see the dynamic. I think it's going to be a massive day, a massive evening at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. First real big game at Tottenham since Frank has come.
Need a big performance.
So I think we need an incredibly big performance. I want to see Kolo Muani, really trying to catch them out with their high line and running behind, and I think he can do that. I think he's always mobile, Kolo Muani, always looking for the. I think like when I compare Kolo Muani to Richarlison, I think Muani will always be looking for that running behind, and I think Richarlison can be a bit like kind of stuck in his ways, stuck in the mud kind of thing at times.
And I think Muani as well is a better link-up player as well.
Yeah.
I think he's better with his back to goal than Richarlison. I think Richarlison, when he's at his peak, he can be good, but I feel like too often, the ball comes bouncing off him in difficult situations, where I feel like Muani has a better understanding of his surroundings than Rishi, and that's what I like about him in that position. I'm just looking to see who's the favourite in this game. Is it going to be us, you reckon?
I think it's going to be very even. Very even. I think Chelsea might be slight favourites.
We're 17-10 and they're 6-4. So yeah, they're slight favourites.
Yeah. So look, all good things hopefully are going to be coming tomorrow night. Me and Brian on the watch long. Sim is going to he's also said, Sim, don't let him back in the studio if he comes back with a voice. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But that is it from the preview. Sim has predicted 2-1 to Tottenham.
Feeling good vibes.
I've predicted 2-0. I would say, though, that I do feel like the Spurs fan base in this one are a bit too confident. Including myself, including you, including everyone.
We went for draws in the Prem.
You did. I went for Spurs win. I went 1-0. But I feel like, how it goes, Sim. You know how it goes. When Spurs fans are too confident, it just gets thrown back in our faces every time. But hopefully this time will be different.
For you, how much is this, if a test of Tottenham is this tomorrow? Like, are Chelsea a really good litmus test to see where we are? Or, like, are they not in good form, so you can't learn much, or is this just like a massive test for Tottenham?
I think it's a massive test. I think you look throughout the years, no matter who our manager is, no matter what form Chelsea are in, no matter what form Tottenham are in, we always seem to struggle against Chelsea. It's a massive London derby. They absolutely hate us. The last 2 times at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, we've just been so disappointing. Maybe not in performance-wise, but just in results and the way things have panned out. And I think with it being the first real test, look, we've had Bournemouth here and we've had Villa. They're tests in its own right, but I'm talking about like a big 6 clash London derby. It's the first big night for Thomas Frank at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and with the poor performances that we've had at home so far, with the kind of difference, the tactical shift that Thomas Frank has done, it's looked a bit better, but obviously we lost on the weekend or midweek, and deservedly so. So I really want to see Spurs have a real strong performance and take all 3 points tonight. And I think, I do think you can learn quite a lot from it. Yeah,
because I think whatever you want to say about this Chelsea team, it did still. I know Liverpool's not great in the moment, but they did beat Liverpool not so long ago, and they had a really good performance as well in that game. So I think you can. It's still going to be a very difficult game. Like Chelsea and Maresca are very smart. He's going to probably come up with a plan. He said he'd watched the last 9 Sunderland games before they played Sunderland on the weekend, and he was analysing them. He said not once did they play a back 5. They changed it to a back 5. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a surprise up his sleeve for us coming to the Tottenham Stadium, knowing that we've probably analysed them. We've seen they've struggled against a back 5. Maybe could we go to a back 5? But then could it be a double bluff from Maresca? Could he have a trick up his sleeve for us? So I think it's going to be quite an interesting tactical battle. Both teams like to be very tactically astute. I think the difference between Maresca and Frank is Maresca's much more focused on having control. He's much more, which can lead to a lot of pointless possession a lot of the time and can be frustrating to watch, but he's much more focused on short passes, having that control on the pitch, whereas Frank is a lot more happier to not have control in the. I think he wants it, but he doesn't mind not having it as long as he's got every kind of area covered and he's got all situations covered, whether it be a transition, whether it be when we do have the ball. I think he's a bit more adaptable in that sense. So I think it is going to be a very, very interesting tactical battle on Saturday.
It will be 100%. And I'm looking at this Chelsea side, and it's just not much worries me. I mean, I look at Caicedo and Enzo, top players, one of the best two double pivots maybe in the Premier League, actually. I look at James and Cucurella, but apart from that, I don't see this Chelsea side being a top side. I actually think they've got weaker since the summer transfer window.
But who they played when they played good teams this season? They
lost to Man U.
They lost to United. That was a bad performance, but they were down to 10 men.
They go down 10 men. They're getting man sent off this game as well.
That is true.
They get man sent off every game.
Yeah, which is maybe we got to think about that.
So, but
rile them up.
Yeah, 100%. But you can't like maybe if they get one man sent off, you can say, but they had 10 men that game. But they get a man sent off literally every game, so you can't give them that excuse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can't give them that excuse every week. Oh yeah, but they had a man sent off.
Mm-hmm. They lost at home to Brighton 3-1. So, that's a pretty decent team they lost to. Drew at home to Palace 0-0. So when they've played some of the better teams, I know then like Palace and Brighton historically haven't been one of the better teams, but I think nowadays they're pretty decent.
But apart from Liverpool, have they beaten anyone in the top half yet? I'm not sure if they have.
Not that I can see. Sunderland they lost to, No, I don't think they have.
So as much as this is a big test for Frank and us, this is actually a massive test for them as well.
Lost to
Bayern. I think both teams have a lot to prove in this game. A lot.
I also feel like they're suffering a lot from the Club World Cup, being in that competition.
100%.
I think it's burnt them out a bit.
Yeah.
They're kind of playing catch up.
Yeah.
This season.
And like when you don't have a player like Cole Palmer, who's been so important for them, got the majority of their goals and assists over the last couple of years, you're going to feel it, and I think they're feeling it massively. So, look, we'll see what happens tomorrow night under the lights. Sim, like I said, is going to be there. I'm going to be here with you guys. Come and tune in 15 minutes before kickoff. Looking forward to seeing you all there. And obviously the post-match fan show is your chance to have your say after we stuff Chelsea at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I want to see all your happy faces on the fan show. But that is it from us today. I want to thank you all for joining us. Like, subscribe and comment.